Hello, everybody. Today we're discussing a very interesting question, and it is, could a company or a government lower its insurance cost to employees or citizens should they drop weight? For this analysis, we're taking a look at a dataset of 1,340 individuals. So let's jump right into our Python file. All right, let's get into the important part. We have here our regression models, which were built by the help of our best friend ChatGPT. Over here, we have our baseline predictors, so our variables. We have here the X base, which is the predictors. And here in the Y, we have our target, which is the annual expenditure in healthcare. We want to know how much people are spending based on those variables, right? Here we have our results of our linear regression model. And the first one showed us that weight had a very small effect on cost, but it wasn't strong enough to be considered meaningful. I'm not going to get too much into technicals, but the p-value showed us that it wasn't statistically significant, the change in healthcare costs based on whether you weighted more or less. That was not relevant based on this model. And if we actually take a look at the next model, which is a more robust and enhanced, we see similar results. We see also a very high p-value for weight, which again means that it is not statistically significant. However, what really stood out in both of our analysis was smoking. So people who smoke were linked too much to higher healthcare costs. So if you take a look at the coefficient column here, you'll see a 2.39 in front of smokers, which translates to $23,900 that people who smoke are paying over people who don't smoke. And this is super important. And also you see that 636 here is also how much people are paying per children they have. So someone who doesn't have a child pay 636 less than someone who has one kid, and so on. And in short, what this analysis translates that the data doesn't give us a solid proof that weight loss alone could cut healthcare costs. Instead, it looks like tackling smoking and planning about your future with kids could be a much more effective way for governments or companies to save on insurance costs. And the way we got here is simple. We started by importing our libraries and downloading our data file. We then clean and observe our data by getting rid of some columns we don't need and some rows we don't need. Also, we got rid we dropped MAs. We addressed outliers, so our results were more accurate. We also added new variables. We got rid of irrelevant columns that were repetitive. We encoded two categorical values so that our regression analysis could be done. We created a parallelogram that helped us then choose which columns could be dropped for our regression. And that's it. That's how we got here. Thank you. See you next time.